Hi everyone, hope you're doing well today. Let's do the chanting straight away. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, dutayambe buddham saranam gacchami, dutayambe dhammam saranam gacchami, dutayambe sangham saranam gacchami, tatayambe buddham saranam gacchami, tatayambe dhammam saranam gacchami, tatayambe sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gate Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha. Tayata Gate Parasam Gate Bodhi Soha. So now time for some meditation. Calm and clear your mind, utilizing awareness, mindfulness, conscientiousness. So initially we will release the tension from the body. Get yourself comfortable and bring your mind inside your body. Let's release whatever tension we can from the tips of the toes all the way up to the shoulders, down to the tips of your fingers, and to the top of your head. So let's take a few moments to do this now. And now briefly scan your body once more to see if there's any leftover tension that you can release. And if there is, release it. And now initially bring your mind to the tip of your nose. And the object of the meditation is the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs, then back out your nose again. So following the feeling of the breath. Anapanasati, breath meditation, or mindfulness of breathing or breath. If thoughts arise, don't cling to them. Don't grasp at them. Also, don't try to forcefully push them away or deny them. But simply let them go naturally by replacing your mind back onto your breath. And if your mind starts to become dull or sleepy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. You can also add the extra technique of counting the breaths from 1 to 10. 1 in breath and 1 out breath is 1, and so on. But if you get distracted on the way to 10, go back to 1 at that time. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel pleased with ourselves for engaging in the practice and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. Utilize the visualization technique of filling our whole being with white light, which represents the universal loving kindness, or white nectar if you prefer. Or going with just the feeling is fine too. So fill yourself with this universal loving kindness. Really feel it. You really feel nice, happy with yourself, pleased with yourself. Not in an egotistical way, but in a wise, compassionate, and loving way. Fill yourself with so much loving kindness that it now overflows outwards and radiates initially to your loved ones, family and friends, and fills them with the universal loving kindness too. Have the wish that they are happy and have the causes of happiness, that they are free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and that they are peaceful. And really perceive this happening. So now include strangers, those people that you're indifferent towards, whether you know them a little or not at all. Fill them with the universal loving kindness as well. And have the wish that they are also happy and have the causes of happiness, that they are free from suffering and the causes of suffering, and that they too are peaceful. Now let's also include those you may regard as enemies, people that you find it difficult to be around or even think about sometimes. Radiate this universal loving kindness in the form of the white light to them as well, filling them with the universal loving kindness. May they be happy and have the causes of happiness. May they be free from suffering and have the causes of suffering. May they too be peaceful. Now let's extend this universal loving kindness out further and further distance-wise to all living beings now, not just people. Initially around your immediate area, all living beings, whether they fly through the air, live in the waters, live on the land or even under the land, whether they're born from wombs or eggs or moisture or through transformation, whether they live in this realm or other realms, whether you can see them or not, whether they're big or small. May they be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful, filling them with this universal loving kindness. Now radiate this loving kindness out further and further still throughout your whole state or county, to all the innumerable living beings. And throughout other states and counties throughout your whole country. Now beyond this country alone, to other countries too. Initially those you have an affinity towards, also those you're indifferent towards, and to those as well that you may have some negative feelings about. Have your loving kindness pervade throughout all of the countries in the world and throughout all of the oceans and other bodies of water, everywhere, right down to the core of the earth, to the outermost atmosphere. May all of the innumerable living beings on this planet be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful, and slowly work their way, or gradually work their way towards enlightenment, realizing their true nature. Now have your loving kindness pervade throughout the whole solar system, and throughout the galaxy that we call the Milky Way. And throughout the whole universe and beyond, until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. This immeasurable loving kindness that is not separate from immeasurable compassion and joy, and based on equanimity. Once again, you can feel pleased with yourself for engaging in this practice. And just as we did last week, we'll switch techniques now to very briefly perform or engage in the meditation called Tonglen in Tibetan, or giving-taking in English, to develop more compassion and slowly rid ourselves, or gradually rid ourselves of our ego, belief in a self, our ignorance. So on the out-breath or exhaling, give the white light from your heart center to all living beings in front of you, entering into their heart center, bringing them immense happiness. So giving away all of your goodness, all of your merits, good karma, any realizations you may have attained through this lifetime and other lifetimes. Everything you find pleasing, give to others, making them happy and helping them on the path to enlightenment. At the same time, letting go of your attachment to self, to other, and so on. When you inhale, breathing in, breathe in the black smoke that comes from the heart centers of all of those living beings in front of you into your heart center. So freeing them from their sufferings, at the same time destroying, melting away your ego and ignorance. So you don't hang on to anything here. You don't hang on to the white light. You don't hang on to the black smoke. Just practice with the breathing. So breathing in the black smoke, breathing out the white light. Let's practice like this in silence for a short while. Developing this immeasurable compassion. So now once again, we can feel pleased with ourselves and recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious bodhicitta not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of shunyata not yet born arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And so we'll continue to do contemplation on the precious human life. Also, starting from next week, we will have contemplation on impermanence. Following that will be contemplation on the law of karma, of action and result. And then the contemplation on the unsatisfactory nature of cyclic existence. The four preliminary contemplations, excuse me, I'll put my teeth back in, that we utilize to develop renunciation, turning our mind away from worldly stuff and directly towards the Dharma. Okay, This will enable us to develop bodhicitta, the great compassion, as well as realize the supreme wisdom. So realize the three principal paths of renunciation, bodhicitta, and emptiness. Okay, so we're utilizing, as you know, the book and the teaching, number 47 in the book. I said I wasn't going to read it last week again, but I will. I'll do it briefly. And then we will continue, we'll resume from where we left it off last week. Okie dokie. So, every day is a good day, every moment is a good moment, a great opportunity to practice the Buddha Dharma and bring benefit to all sentient beings. If we sincerely and wholeheartedly practice the Dharma moment to moment, day to day, then every moment will be a joyful moment. Every day will be a joyful day. When we sincerely and wholeheartedly practice Dharma in this human life, our life becomes a precious human life, as we will be making the most of this rare and precious opportunity. We should constantly remind ourselves that we now possess a most valuable, priceless, and precious human birth. This will help us to maintain the inner strength, confidence, and joy and enthusiasm we need to take full advantage of this rare opportunity. We should be careful not to waste our lives by being distracted by superficial worldly concerns, so that we can emulate the great sages and masters of the past and truly believe with confidence that we can follow in their footsteps and make our lives truly meaningful and worthwhile. Okay, so I'll read to where we got up to. So this article on the meditation on the precious human life, I'll just read it to you right up to where we're up to, and then we will continue to utilize the three wisdom tools to get to understand this teaching. So we utilize our wisdom of hearing, the wisdom of contemplation, and the wisdom of meditation or habituation, absorption. Okie dokie. So the 10 freedoms or fortunes and the 8 freedoms. Human life is considered precious when it is endowed with the excellent qualities or fortunes and freedoms or good conditions needed to engage in Dharma practice. Firstly, the 10 fortunes, 5 of which relate to you and 5 to the outside world. We should reflect on how fortunate it is that I have been born as a human being. I have been born in a civilized land, a spiritual country. That is, where people are keeping vows and living morally. I have been born with sense faculties intact, able to hear, see, smell, think, and so on. I haven't committed any of the 5 heinous acts, extreme wrongdoings that would result in a rebirth of great suffering in the next life. I have some faith and devotion in the Buddha's teachings and some inspiration to practice to tame this mind. I have been born in a world where a Buddha has come. I have been born in a world where a Buddha has taught and revealed the truth. I have been born where Buddha's teachings have not been lost from hearts and minds, and where both unmistaken understanding and realizations are still held by great practitioners. I have been born where Buddha's teachings are still being practiced in a pure way by the community of practitioners, our Dharma friends. I have been born where I have the necessary conditions to practice and the support of genuine masters who teach us from their great love and compassion. Now let us reflect on the 8 freedoms. I have the freedom to create the causes for temporary happiness and ultimate good by not being born in the hell realms, not being born as a hungry ghost, not being born as an animal, not having distorted views, such as denying that cause and effect exists, and so on and so forth. Not born in a place where no Buddha has appeared, not born in an uncivilized place where no one truly practices morality, not born intellectually disabled with no faculty to learn, understand, or practice the teachings, not born as a long-life god of the form realm. We should reflect that these fortunes and freedoms, reflect that with these fortunes and freedoms, I can attain the sorrowless state and supreme enlightenment. To waste this precious life is like one who returns empty-handed from a treasure island. The great master Lama Je Tsongkhapa said, "This body of leisure is more valuable than a jewel which grants every wish. And now is the time you have found a life such as this. These words indicate not only how meaningful it is to have found such a life, but also how difficult and rare it is to have done so. We should contemplate these ideas again and again to realize a deep understanding and conviction in their meaning. Begin by reflecting on what you can check for yourself to be true. Acceptance of the sufferings of the more hidden realms can come later. We can see directly that many people are born in countries without even the most basic freedoms, where they are tortured, oppressed by cruel and harsh systems of government. Many suffer persecution, extreme violation of their basic human rights. We should reflect, am I not fortunate to live in this land? Many are born blind, disabled in various ways, unable to receive or practice spiritual teachings. Am I not fortunate to be born with sense organs and faculties intact, able to hear and understand the Dharma? And this is where we left it off last week. So I'll read to you the next paragraph, and then we can do the, so this is wisdom of hearing, and then you can do the wisdom of contemplation and then meditation. Okay? So get yourself comfortable again. Hopefully you are comfortable. Check your body, make sure you haven't tensed up, like that. Many people have narrow, distorted views, unable to understand the law of cause and effect, of past and future lives, and so on and so forth, and therefore lead foolish, wasted lives. Am I not fortunate to have the chance to discover the truth and be free from suffering? So we will do it a little bit at a time. I think we have about another 11 minutes or something left. So many people in this world have narrow, distorted views, unable to understand the law of cause and effect, which is closely related, of course, to past and future lives and so on, or believe in them. And therefore, they lead foolish, wasted lives. Okay, so wisdom of hearing, I will repeat. Remember, and then you can contemplate. Many people have narrow, distorted views, unable to understand the law of cause and effect, of past and future lives, and so on and so forth, and therefore lead foolish, wasted lives. So contemplate these facts, this teaching. It should be very obvious to you that cause and effect is real in the relational sort of way, in a relative sense, I should say. Not ultimately, because actually ultimately they are both empty of each other or empty of themselves, and then together, collectively, they're also empty. But we're not talking about emptiness right now. We're talking about relative existence, so that we can turn our back to the world in a sense, okay, not our backs, but like put our mind towards enlightenment. I should have put it that way, okay? The law of cause and effect is how things come into being and how things cease. If the law of cause and effect is real, of course we've had past lives, because this life doesn't come from nothing. Of course, this would lead into future lives until we realize enlightenment. We shouldn't waste our lives. We should not lead foolish lives. Contemplate these facts. And absorb your mind with this understanding that you have achieved, realized. And now back to the wisdom of hearing, to do with the same teaching. Am I not fortunate to have the chance to discover the truth and to be free from suffering, to realize the Four Noble Truths, be able to practice the Eightfold Path, and realize the cessation of the cause of suffering. Realize true freedom. So contemplate on this, the fact that we are fortunate to have the chance to discover the truth and to free ourselves from suffering. This is magnificent. And after contemplating, absorb your mind with this knowledge. So back to hearing again. Many live in places without sufficient food or water, homeless, scraping for a living. Am I not fortunate to live in a land of such abundance? So we can once again hear this, then we will do a brief contemplation and then absorb your mind. Many live in places without sufficient food or water, homeless, even scraping for a living. Am I not fortunate to live in a land of such abundance? So now absorb your mind, or I should say contemplate briefly and then absorb your mind. We are very fortunate. Once again, hearing. Many people are born in places where there are no practitioners of the Buddha's teaching, or in places where no Buddhas have appeared and revealed the truth. The teachings are being lost from the world. I have met them just in time. Am I not fortunate to have encountered these precious teachings in a pure form? So I'll break that up into two bits. Once again, the wisdom of hearing now. Many people are born in places where there are no practitioners of the Buddha's teachings, or in places where no Buddhas have appeared and revealed the truth, this world and other worlds, for instance. So contemplate that at very least we are born in a place where we can practice the Dharma. We can listen to the Dharma, contemplate the Dharma, absorb our mind with the Dharma. Now absorb your mind with this teaching, this understanding. And once again, hearing. The teachings are being lost from the world as each day goes by. You know, if Dharma practitioners practice pure with a pure mind, then the Dharma stays alive. If Dharma practitioners practice with more impure minds, then the Dharma starts to disappear. You know, so we never know how long it's going to last in the world. So let's practice right now. You know? I have met these Dharma teachings just in time. Am I not fortunate to have encountered these precious teachings in a pure form? So contemplate this very briefly and absorb your mind with the understanding once you have contemplated. Now back to hearing again. And could I endure for even a single day the sufferings of animals, always afraid, eating each other, used in cruel experiments, farmed and slaughtered in unbearable suffering, hunted for their skins and fur, forced to labor in harsh conditions, and so on and so forth? Am I not fortunate to be born as a human being? So we could go into a lot of detail there, but really the subject right now is not about that realm of the animal realm, okay? Contemplate that. Really, what we want to do here is to contemplate and absorb our mind with how fortunate we are to encourage ourselves to practice the Dharma. So we won't spend a lot of time on this. Once again, hearing and then contemplating. And could I endure for even a single day the sufferings of animals, always afraid, eating each other, used in cruel experiments, farmed and slaughtered in unbearable suffering, hunted for their skins and fur, forced to labor in harsh conditions, and so on and so forth? Am I not fortunate to be born as a human being? So once again, just briefly contemplate this and then absorb your mind with it. Just take like 30 seconds on each, or even less. We have 2 more paragraphs to go. That's why in the next couple of minutes. And now back to hearing. And what of those beings tortured by unbearable hunger and thirst, by torments unimaginable? Am I not fortunate to be free from such states? Who can say when such a precious human life will be mine again? Who can say how long I have left in this life? Let me resolve to ensure that I make correct and highest use of it. May I take the essence of this precious birth with its fortunes and freedoms without wasting a single moment. So now just hear again and then contemplate this little part. And what of those beings tortured in unbearable hunger and thirst by torments unimaginable? Am I not fortunate to be free from such states? Contemplate that and then absorb your mind with it. So I will continue to read. So here again, who can say when such a precious human life will be mine again? Who can say how long I have left in this life? Let me resolve to ensure that I make correct and highest use of it. May I take the essence of this precious birth with its fortunes and freedoms without wasting a moment. So encouraging ourselves now, I encourage you as well to read this article by yourself, for yourself, and then contemplate and absorb your mind with the teachings therein, okay? The great master Lama Tsongkhapa said, "It is difficult to find and easily destroyed like lightning in the sky. Think this over carefully and come to realize that all activities of the world are like chaff blown in the wind. To take the essence of this life, you must strive day and night. I, the master meditator, live my life in this way. You who seek for freedom must try to do likewise." Okay, so I have no idea how long I've got left, maybe a minute or two. So we will continue to utilize this formula of utilizing the 3 wisdom tools of hearing, contemplating, and meditating in the coming weeks. I think it's a good idea. There's been some people that watched the video later from overseas, different countries, that really like this formula. And so I think we'll continue doing this just for the moment, okay? So I will continue to do it now as well until we finish the class. But first I will say, again, I will encourage you